Getting started with Flow Log Ingestion. Use this video with our Quick Start guides found at docs.netography.com/quickstart. This video is meant to augment the written material in the Quick Start guides, but it can't replace it. You will occasionally need to copy and paste from our written guides during setup. Basic working knowledge of cloud administration may be required for things like configuring roles, policies, and permissions. Once you've successfully completed Flow Log Ingestion, you'll immediately be able to view events, detections, and alerts. See our guides and videos on context enrichment integration and DNS query log ingestion next. In this video, we're going to walk through the following steps. Create an S3 bucket. Create an SNS topic. Create an SQS queue. Subscribe the SQS queue to the SNS topic. Create custom IAM permissions. Create a custom IAM role. Create an event notification for the SQS queue. Enable VPC flow logs via Cloud Shell using the provided CLI command. And add AWS VPC flow logs as a traffic source in Netography Fusion. First, we're going to need to create a S3 bucket where we're going to store your flow logs. Click Create Bucket. Give your bucket a name. Leave all settings as default. Click Create Bucket. Now you're going to need to copy the ARN and store that for a future step in a text file. Next, we're going to create a simple notification service topic. Leave all settings as default and click Create Topic. Now copy the ARN and save it in a text file, as you're going to need this in a future step. Now we're going to create an SQS queue. So go to Simple Queue Service, click Create Queue, give the queue a name. Under Configuration, set the message retention period to be 1 day. Under Access Policy, click Advanced. Now you're going to want to delete all of the JSON that's already here. And you're going to need to go to the Quick Start Guide for AWS and go to the Create the SQS Queue page. You're going to need to copy and paste the JSON from here, paste it over here in AWS, and you're going to need to fill in your bucket name that you created earlier in a previous step, which in our case is going to be Neto Video Bucket. And that's it. Leave all other settings as default and click Create Queue. Once again, we're going to save our ARN into a text file, as we will need this in a future step. Now we're going to stay on the SQS page for the queue we just created, and we're going to come down and click Subscribe to Amazon SNS Topic. We're going to choose the topic we created in the previous step, which in our case is Neto Video Topic, and click Save. Next, we're going to create an IAM policy. Go to the IAM page, click Policies, click Create Policy, click JSON, and just like in a similar step, you're going to delete all of the default JSON there. We're going to go over to the AWS Quick Start Guide and go to the Create IAM Policy page. We're going to copy and paste this JSON over to AWS. Now we need to replace SQS ARN here. This is a placeholder with our actual SQS ARN. So let's copy, paste, and we're going to need to replace this placeholder with our bucket name here. And we called our bucket Neto Video Bucket. Now we are going to click Next and give our policy a name. And we are going to click Create Policy. Next, we're going to create a custom role, which we'll use to authenticate with Netography Fusion. Go to IM, click Roles, click Create Role, click AWS Account. Head on over to the AWS Quick Start Guide and the Create Custom Role page. You're going to want to copy over the account ID, click another AWS account, and paste it in there. Click Require External ID, and copy and paste that over. Now click Next, and you're going to want to search for the policy you created in a previous step. Check the box, and you see the permissions policy has switched to 1 on the left-hand side. Now you're going to head back over to the Quick Start Guide for Create Custom Role and copy over EC2 read-only access. Search for it in the permissions policy, check the box, and you'll see permissions policy is now changed to 2. Click Next, give it a name, and in the trust policy, you should see the correct account ID and external ID that you entered earlier. Click Create Role. Now click on your role and save the ARN. You're going to need this to authenticate to Netography Fusion in a future step. Next, we're going to create an event notification. So go to the S3 bucket we created in a previous step. Click on the bucket. Click the Properties tab. Scroll down to Create Event Notification. And we're going to give our event a name. Scroll down to All Object Create Events, and for our destination, we're going to select SQSQ, and we're going to select the Neto Video Queue, which is the SQSQ we created in a previous step, and leave everything else set as default. And finally, we're going to enable VPC flow logs. So go to the VPC page, click on VPCs. You're going to need your VPC ID to complete the next step. Hop on over to the Quick Start Guide for AWS and go to the Enable VPC Flow Logs page. You're going to need to copy and paste this CLI over into the Cloud Shell. So first, let's open up the Cloud Shell by clicking the terminal icon in the upper right. This gives us a command line where we can paste commands. And you're going to need to edit the placeholders in the CLI. VPC ID is going to need to be your VPC ID here, and bucket name is going to need to be replaced with the name of your S3 bucket where we're going to be sending your flow logs, and that we created in the previous step as Neto Video-bucket. So we are going to copy and paste our edited CLI here, make sure that you do not have any extra characters or spaces after the backslashes before you paste your command in. So we're going to come over here to the Cloud Shell, paste our command, hit enter. And if you see unsuccessful here with empty brackets, that means the command completed successfully. Now we're going to add AWS as a new flow source in Netography Fusion. If this is your first flow source ingestion, when you log in right on the home page, there's a Add a Traffic Source button. If you have done flow ingestion before, you're going to need to go down to Settings, Traffic Sources, Add Traffic Source, and AWS S3 VPC. So give it a name. For the account ID, you're going to copy this over from the top right user menu in AWS. For your region, you're going to start by specifying the region of your account, and you're going to enter your bucket name. We created Neto Video Bucket in a previous step, and you're going to need to enter your bucket region, which should be in the same region as your account. Now you can go ahead and ignore these settings and leave remove log blank. Leave the authentication type set to the default of role, and we're going to want to copy over our ARN for the custom role we created in a previous step. Paste it in, click save, and you're done.